All right. I think we have microphone sound. How you doing? Welcome back to Black Bear News, where everything is connected. How are you doing? Know what's going on. Good to see y'all here. People talking about vitamins. Vitamita vitamins. Vitamita Mans. Yeah, one frame every 5 seconds. Is it really slow? Is it bad? Hold on. Maybe I can help. All right. Is that better? Hold on. Let me make sure the sound is okay. Okay. No, it's probably not you. Is this better? Do I look like I'm moving in a normal fashion? All right. Yeah. Okay. Well, my guess about the other day was correct, I guess. About why that was a big mistake on my part. Huge. I won't do it again. Yeah, I take a lot of vitamins, or not a lot. That's not true. I don't take a lot of vitamins, but I take vitamins. Yeah, it was a VPN slowing everything down. So must be mindful of that. What was I saying? Yeah, I do take some vitamins as a, just as a backstop on my health, I guess. Because I don't know that I get, the nutrition that you get from food these days is not what it used to be. A lot of the natural vitamins and minerals that you would normally get from food is not there anymore, or is being depleted. All right, so is the picture nice and clear now? Okay, because it looks clear to me. It was looking clear before. I just don't know how it's making it to y'all. And I want it to be high quality. Yeah, I don't eat badly. I think I eat pretty good comparatively to most people, but I still don't. All right, cool. Thanks, Bella. I think I eat pretty well. But I still don't think that I get all the proper nutrients. So I take vitamins, just to kind of shore that up. And I know that even the vitamins are not really great. Not a great source of well-being. I mean, it's you do what you can. I mainly take vitamin C because what I generally hear about almost every ailment and the fact that things are constantly attacking your immune system is that regular pretty large doses of vitamin C are very helpful in fighting pretty much anything, and that having not letting your immune system get weak in a weakened state is also paramount to fighting pretty much anything. So if you can bolster your immune system, it's like the first line of defense for almost everything. I know some people say it's D or other things. But I generally just tend to feel better if I take some vitamin C on a regular. Tequila also, vitamin T, don't forget it. If only I could. That used to be my cure for colds, not tequila, but hot wine or warm wine was, and it actually really works. If you drink some warm, red wine, clove wine. It'll, if you're not feeling well, it's pretty effective, but I don't drink anymore, so that's not available to me. And sure, tequila will kill just about anything that you pour it onto, so good for what ails you, I guess. Shoot. Well, let's get into some news. Time's a wasting. Please like the video, share the video, gently caress the video, and all that kind of good stuff. And we're live on YouTube, X, and on Telegram if you want to watch on Telegram. X is funny. Some days they're telling me that people are watching, and other days they're telling me that nobody is watching. But thanks, Obsolete, for reposting. Tequila with black coffee. Okay, well, I got the coffee part down. You got 102 heat index, Bella? Jesus. Oh, I was going to say, Bella, when you send the peppers, give me a heads up, because I'm going to have to get, or yeah, just let me know when they're on the way, so I don't let them sit at the P.O. box too long. Speaking of malnutrition, that's not it. Oh, really? Whoa. You got to be careful with almost anything you put in your body these days, right? Okay, we're going to go through some news pretty quickly. From Climate Watcher, most of the stranded whales showed signs of malnutrition, including depleted blubber oil, missing fat reserves, and empty digestive tracts, similar to conditions that precipitated the unusual mortality event monitored by NOAA Fisheries from 2018 to 2023. Scientists raise red flags after observing concerning new whale behavior. We're seeing conditions that suggest a continuation. And there's, pretty continual reports of whales beaching and showing signs of malnutrition. Pacific gray whales are stranding at an unusually high, and experts are worried that a similar crisis from just a few years ago is occurring once more. According to KNKX, scientists are alarmed by the rising number of gray whales stranding along the Pacific West Coast. So far this year, 47 gray whales have been stranded across California, Washington, and Oregon, already well above last year's total of 31, with peak migration not expected until the end of June. Well, it's already the end of June. This story is from 3 days ago, but anyways. Cascadia Research reports that most of the stranded whales showed signs of malnutrition, including depleted blubber oil, missing fat reserves, and empty digestive tracts. With the number of sick whales and strandings today, Cascadia whale biologist John Kalambakidis said in the KNKX report, we're seeing conditions that suggest a continuation rather than a rebound from that mortality event from 2018 to 2023. Low blubber oil levels and malnutrition suggest that gray whales are likely struggling to find food in the Arctic due to the warming waters and melting sea ice. With depleted fat reserves and empty stomachs, the gray whales veer off course to feed in unexpected places like San Francisco Bay. According to the scientists, unusual behaviors like this are signs of ecosystem imbalance. Well, I wonder why that's happening. I wonder what could be causing the ecosystem imbalance. Must be a pole shift. Or sun flares. Not saying that neither of those things are happening or could happen. I'm just saying let's try and think of everything but human beings being the cause of ecosystem imbalance on the planet. It's like sun flares, HARP, NextRad, aliens, pole shift, chemtrails. Did you ever consider humans? Why, that's downright Malthusian of you. How dare you? Anyways. Oh, this is an interesting article for those that are concerned about global dimming or those who follow James Hansen. China's success in cleaning up air pollution may have accelerated global warming. Well, that's confusing, isn't it? I thought we were supposed to clean up the atmosphere to help fight global warming. Efforts to clean up air pollution in China and across East Asia may have inadvertently contributed to a spike in global warming, a new study has found. Golly, the decline in aerosol emissions, which can cool the planet by absorbing sunlight, have added about 0.05 degrees Celsius in warming per decade since 2010. According to the study published on Monday in Communications, Earth, and Environment. At that time, China began implementing aggressive air quality policies and was ultimately able to achieve a 75% reduction in emission rate of toxic sulfur dioxide, the authors noted. Meanwhile, in many countries, they tried to pour as much sulfur dioxide into the atmosphere as possible. But that's beside the point. Sulfur dioxide gas, harmful pollutants that result from fossil fuel combustion in volcanoes, are precursors to sulfate aerosols, which are dominant aerosol species that cool the Earth today. Despite posing health threats to plants, humans, and other animals, these particles are among the many types of aerosols that also cool the planet. I'm confused. I thought it was global warming. Well, solar dimming is a concept that one should become familiar with, which is the predicament of the fact that we are throwing so many things into the atmosphere that are helping to warm the planet. Some of these things also act as an umbrella and keep some of the global warming that has been generated tapped down. And over the last couple of years, the global temperature has increased dramatically past 1.5, the 1.5 guardrail. And a lot of people blame the ending of the burning of bunker fuel in ships and, you know, the lack of aerosols from that practice. And then this article also is stating, right, that China is trying to clean up the emissions, but those emissions that are harming the planet, they are harming the planet. You don't want to keep doing that. But they have masked some of the heating that all these emissions had generated. Anyways. Malcolm says about 2C difference right now between full dimming and no dimming. Anyways, despite posing health threats to plants, humans, and other animals, these particles are among the many types of aerosols that also cool the planet. When clouds form around aerosols, such particles can absorb solar energy from the atmosphere and thereby reduce sunlight at ground level. If clouds are not present, aerosols can reflect sunlight back into outer space. This is the whole concept. And I think part of the misunderstanding of what chemtrails are, part of, and I'm saying this because it's not either or, it's not A or B, it's both. It's several things happening at the same time. But part of the misunderstanding of chemtrails is that people think they're spraying us and they're doing it to them. Sure, yes, there could be many uses for chemtrails or weather modification, right? There could be many, and these things are things that are happening, right? There could be, use cases for doing stuff like this. But one of the main use cases that people don't understand or misunderstand because they cannot, absolutely cannot take in the idea of global warming, or cannot accept it, or cannot think about it, or can't, right, put it into their worldview, is that the purpose of the chemtrails is to create an umbrella that is helping to cool the planet, and it's helping this global dimming thing that's going on. And so it's very, it's very confusing, right? Like, why would they clean up the emissions if it's going to make the earth warmer? And then we're putting stuff back in the sky that's helping to cool. They're probably trying to figure out how to transition from, burning so many fossil fuels and creating the global warming problem. Right. And they understand completely and thoroughly the idea of global dimming, right? So if we stop the emissions, and if we clean up these emissions, if we take the stuff out of the sky, it's going to increase the warming that we've already put into the system. So how do we do that? How do we manage that? Well, we make our own clouds. We make our own little umbrella in the sky. And it's probably one of the easier. This is the whole idea, the concept of the mirrors thing that the Harvard guys are working on, and reflecting basically light back into space, or keeping light from penetrating all the way down and making the earth hotter and stuff. So for me, this is one of the main reasons why they're creating contrails or chemtrails or long-lasting contrails, which stay in the sky and create an umbrella. That's one of the main reasons, is to keep this unrealized heat in check. Yeah, nobody this is called correlation in straight lines without taking the whole physics force diagram. Ocean rates of absorption are far more impacting than what these papers are attempting to say. Sure. Adding thermal mass to the atmosphere only serves to accelerate ocean take-up. Sure. Not included in the standard climate model. Sure. All right, Denver. Peace out, and I'll see you tomorrow. I said nothing of the kind, Deline. I don't know what you're talking about. It's just that, see, I'm talking about several things happening at the same time, and not an either or situation. And you're interpreting what I'm saying as I'm saying it's either or, which I'm not. So I don't misinterpret what I'm saying, please. Please don't do that. It actually upsets me quite a bit when people misinterpret what I'm saying intentionally to make it seem like they don't understand what I'm saying. It's annoying. Sorry. Anyways. But what I was saying about what I'm saying about climate change being the cause of all the calamitous weather events is what I'm saying. The underlying cause for all the calamity. Chemtrails are or contrails or whatever you want to call them are part of the management of the global warming, they're not the cause of the global warming, which is what I think you're trying to say, which is a misinterpretation of what's going on. Just contrails or chemtrails are not causing the calamity. That's totally wrong. And we can disagree on that. I'm sure you might be disagreeing with me on that, but that's wrong. What's causing the calamitous weather situation is climate change. The chemtrails are an attempt to manage it. You understand? So they are both happening. They're both happening at the same time. Creative Experiment says Guy McPherson's stream yesterday was unusually doomy, saying it doesn't matter driving cars or not, that shipping. Okay, well then, I mean, that's fine. But I just never said that they weren't happening. So I don't know. I don't know how many times I have to say that. Saying it doesn't matter driving cars or not, that shipping pollutes more, but didn't look at the whole car system of parking lots, highways. Okay, I see what you're saying. All right. Anyways, when clouds form around aerosols, such particles can absorb solar energy from the atmosphere, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, however, with fewer cooling aerosols now present in the atmosphere, areas of East Asia and around the world have endured intensified warming and are expected to face even more extreme heat, shifting monsoon patterns, and potential disruptions to agriculture, according to the study. The plunge in sulfate levels partially unmasks greenhouse gas-driven warming and influences the spatial pattern of surface temperature change. Reducing air pollution has clear health benefits, but without also cutting CO2, you're removing a layer of protection against climate change. That's kind of a little bit. That's a little disingenuous. It highlights the need for parallel efforts to improve air quality and reduce greenhouse gas emissions, but that still doesn't really. I mean, we know that there's like a general scientific. I don't know what I call it scientific dimming, where they're just really not like looking at the whole picture, and they are very compartmentalized on their own, and not. They're saying and thinking misleading things in their studies and in their interpretation of what they're finding. Anyways. How are we going to get our cars if shipping is discontinued? That is a good question. The Pentagon uses more petroleum per day than the aggregate consumption of 175 countries and generates more than 70% of this nation's total greenhouse gas emissions. That is, yeah. Well, ending war would really help with the destroying of the planet thing, wouldn't it? Um, okay, I'll just read a few more because I got to move on. Emission reductions applied to their simulations corresponded closely with those realized over 2010 to 2023 period in East Asia. The authors noted, adding that emissions from the region are expected to continue to decline, albeit at a slower rate. Although their work focused on sulfate aerosols, the researchers stressed that carbon dioxide and methane emissions remain the biggest drivers of long-term climate change. Our study focused on the recent dramatic speed up in global warming, which is very concerning, but still small compared to the overall long-term amount of warming from increased CO2 and methane, said lead author Bjorn Samset. Although meanwhile, Allen meanwhile also emphasized that because aerosols are short-lived in the atmosphere, the spike in global temperatures could subside in the near future. Oh, really? Again, that's leaving out a lot of information there. And that's a fundamental, I feel like, I mean, scientists can be really not very smart too, because you're leaving out feedback. The idea, and Michael Mann has put this out there, the idea that we, well, if we just slash our emissions in half and then global warming will get better in a couple of years. No, that's not how it works. I mean, it would help. I'm not saying don't do that. I think we should do that. But it's a little bit misleading, and I think I don't know, maybe that's just what they feel like they need to put out there to make people do the right thing, I guess. I don't know. Sure. Okay, so meanwhile, Trump has dismissed all 400 experts working on critical climate risks because, on June 30th, all past reports vanished too, along with the federal website they lived on. They are erasing any evidence of climate change to stop all rules combating climate change. We already know this. This is a redux of, the Bush administration, basically. Paul Beckwith seems to be the only person on Gaia's stream who actually puts the blame on capitalism. I don't think Gaia is willing to go that far. I don't know. I've never really heard, well, or maybe I have. I don't know. Contrails. Malcolm Young says contrails have been mistaken for chemtrails, and someone somewhere is spraying stuff for some reason. Can both be true. No, I didn't listen to his stream yesterday. Um, I don't know. I don't really like. I'm doing a lot of things when I'm not doing this show, and so you know, apologies to I try to gather all the information that I can during the day, but it's like I have a very small window of time to like listen to things. But I'll go check it out. I'll go give it a listen. Nails for snails. Well, the reason why I say contrails is because, and this is something that NASA and NOAA admit, on the internet, or have admitted in the past on the internet, that some contrails that are produced, and we're assuming that they are just being silly and like, well, these are just naturally occurring contrails. Some contrails stay in the air for a really long time and spread out and become clouds. And people have witnessed that same phenomenon over and over again. And what I'm saying is, and it's, chemtrails or not, you can create contrails that last for a long time and spread out and create like an umbrella. Like, that's a very simple concept, right? Create an umbrella that kind of blocks the sun and keeps people in this, like, it's like putting a shade above your plants, right? You're not putting like a solid umbrella over your plants. You're putting shade cloth is what I mean, right? You're putting something that cuts the level of sunlight from coming in, so it keeps the direct sunlight from coming down and burning everything up. This is what contrails do. And they can create contrails whenever they want. They can create long-lasting contrails that stay in the sky for hours and hours and spread out and become this big umbrella. It's fairly obvious that that's happening if you just watch what's going on. So I call them contrails just because, they're not, I'm not associating them with, they're spraying you with aluminum, barium, sure, there's probably a bunch of junk in there, but like the point of the trail is not to spray you with stuff. Maybe some of them are, I don't know. I try to take in all the information that I can, but like, if the point of the contrail is just to make an umbrella and stay up there and shield you from the sun, that's totally kind of a different idea than a chemtrail that's, poisoning you on, I'm sure there's chemicals in there that make it stay in the air. But I'm talking about the perception of where, where you're coming from and your perception of what's happening. Is I'm just trying to create just a slightly different perspective on it. That's all. And if it makes the population docile, then yeah, that helps too. Sure. Those contrails could also trap heat in the lower atmosphere. Sure. I mean, there's so much going on, and that's why I kind of feel like, the Earth system is a large system. It's, you have to understand all the things that are going on, right? It's very, when you talk to some people about global dimming, right, to somebody who doesn't care about climate change or doesn't read about this stuff or think about this stuff, and you explain the concept of global dimming, they might be like, what? That's too many complications in the cake for me to take it in, right? Or think about. Right. And then nobody mentioned global heat, ocean heat upwelling, which is also happening, right? Like the oceans have taken in all the carbon that they can take in, and have now the oceans are just in a constant state of El Nino warmth, right? They basically, like, we're in just a forever super El Nino where the oceans are going to add to the heat of the atmosphere too. There's a lot of things happening. Okay, let's keep going. But the consequence of the warming planet is that you have this every single day now. This is in Yakutia in Russia. Massive. 91 people have been evacuated. Pakistan is also facing an emergency. 66 people dead, 290 injured in the past 24 hours. What you get is, an unstable climate. We're not stable, and it's going to become more unstable as time goes forward. Oregon governor just declared statewide fire emergency. Okay. And also in Mexico is still getting whacked, zapped, whatever. Guys, if you like the show, if you want the show to keep coming to you for free, $99 Monday through Friday, and you want to support the show, there's lots of ways to do it in the description box of YouTube, or on the link tree on X, or link tree on Telegram. Avenues are there: PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, Zelle, Buy Me a Coffee, Ko-Fi, Patreon, Substack. Many of you support the show on a regular basis, and you know who you are. I appreciate you. Man, I'm not gonna get to all these links. But this is an interesting juxtaposition, because mortgage defaults are spiking nationwide. If you're wondering why there are more homeless than ever. And then meanwhile, in Los Angeles, they're saying the homeless population is down. Is that because they were told to leave? Did many of them pass away for lack of services? It's interesting with all the focus on California's homeless budget and where it has never gone to homeless people. And then they're saying homelessness is down for the second straight year in a row. Really? Okay. A lot of people have questions about the numbers, right? They're saying, oh, well, it's convenient that you're saying that the homeless population is down when there's so much focus on where the money for the homeless is going. But maybe like so many others in Los Angeles or in California, they're just leaving, going elsewhere. I don't know. I mean, homeless people can leave too. It's a lot easier, actually, if you're homeless, is get a bus ticket. It doesn't require all the logistics and stuff. You just get a bus ticket and you go like to another place, and you get off the bus and you're like, here I am. So there's that. Creative Experiment says solution for homeless: lower rent until homeless disappears. Yes. I like it. I love it. That's great. Salt Liquor says, what's the best part about dating a homeless girl? I don't know. What is the best part? I fear the punchline to this joke. I spent so much time talking. Now I got to rapid fire through these stories. This is pretty good, though, for all the anti-socialist rubes out there. Real freedom is saving 4% of my taxes by living in a country with no health care, child support, or functional education system, then paying like 50% of my post-tax income if I happen to want any of those things. Europeans simply cannot comprehend this level of freedom. um People are talking about the fact that all the things going on are just a cover, mostly a cover for what's in the big, beautiful bungle of a bill, which is funding the largest biometric surveillance build out in U.S. history. AI risk scores, facial recognition, and autonomous towers blanketing highways, all for border security. Oh, yeah, states can't override biometric privacy laws for 10 years. Well, oh, I didn't know this. That's interesting. The 10-year moratorium preventing states from regulating AI systems, including biometrics, was removed from the bill by a Senate vote on July 1st, 2025, before final passage. I mean, it's good to know. I don't know that it necessarily changes much about the direction, though. You can drop her off anywhere? Okay. Hold on one second. Another on the big, beautiful bill and the. Oh, I think that's the same one. Hold on. This is from Seven Seas. Everything is a distraction from the digital prison they're building around us, and it's working. More people are concerned with dumb, divisive stuff than they are with automation of jobs, digital borders, digital IDs, stable coins, 15-minute cities, sorry, or social credit scores. But, sure. I guess sure there are distractions from these things that are important, but sorry, a genocide in Gaza is pretty dang important. The idea that that people can just indiscriminately destroy another people is pretty, it's not a distraction. Sorry. Yes, this is concerning and we should be aware of this, but like, I think it's all part of the same build out. It's actually, they're all tied together. They're all linked, right? They're all connected. Epstein, the Gaza thing, the co-option of our entire government by AIPAC or Israel, the build out of AI, it's all connected. It's not a distraction. You have to pay attention to it all. It's not, don't look over here. Don't pay attention to the genocide in Gaza. That's a weird take. Abby Martin posted this. This video is not playing, maybe because they don't want it to, but Gaza is an experiment by the mega rich, trying to show all the peoples of the world how to respond to a rebellion of humanity. They plan to bomb us all, says Colombian President Petro Gustavo. Wow. And that's real. That's true. And that's what many people, others have said the same thing. It's just an experiment. Or not necessarily just an experiment. It's a demonstration of what's going to happen to people they don't like inside this country pretty soon. Which is why ICE is out. None of this is a distraction. Why ICE is out on the streets, in force, rounding up people, citizens or non-citizens. Why Trump is talking about deporting eventually naturally born citizens if they just deem you, if they just call you a criminal, if you did something in their eyes that's bad enough, they could just put you on a plane and take you away somewhere and nobody will hear from you again. So he's correct. That's what they're planning to do to us all. But it's hand in glove with AI and biometrics and CBDCs and all of that, which they're also trying to ram through the CBDCs. I'm going through these like super fast, guys, through the rest of these stories. Max Blumenthal, something you will rarely see on U.S. cable media, a clinically detailed report on Israeli settler terror and the rising toll of American citizens killed by Israel in the occupied West Bank. Okay. And this is Matt Gaetz, of all people.
Against the backdrop of aggressive military actions by Israel in the Middle East recently, another scandal is brewing in Judea and Samaria, which the media calls the West Bank. It seems an American who was there peacefully visiting with family was murdered by Israeli settlers. Saifa Musalet, a 20-year-old American Palestinian born in Florida, was visiting family in Sinjil when a mob of Israeli settlers surrounded him, beat him to death over 3 agonizing hours, and blocked medics from saving him. In the same rampage, a Palestinian named Mohammed Shalabi was shot dead. Secretary of State Marco Rubio addressed this in a press briefing this morning.
We protect all American citizens anywhere in the world, especially if they're unjustly murdered or killed. So we're gathering more information, but I hope you saw yesterday Ambassador Huckabee in Israel asked the Israeli authorities to produce an investigation and concrete information about who was responsible for his murder.
The Israeli authorities doing an investigation. Indeed, U.S. Ambassador to Israel Mike Huckabee labeled this a criminal and terrorist act. He urged Israel to investigate the matter, but the family of the slain American doesn't want a Israeli-led investigation. They want a U.S.-led probe. So what exactly is going on in the West Bank? We know the Palestinians there aren't voting in Section C in national elections. Are innocent people, families, even Americans just getting summarily slain? Here's a video of what appears to be a Palestinian man gunned down as he's filming Israeli soldiers. Warning, the content's disturbing.
Crazy. Oh my God.
Truth is, this isn't an isolated tragedy in the West Bank. It's part of a pattern of Israeli settler attacks on Palestinian communities that include the torching of homes, farms, and lives, all while protected by Israeli forces who are funded by U.S. tax dollars. That's not even the most troubling part. Israel rarely holds these killers accountable. There's been 8 unsolved killings of American citizens just since 2022. Among the 8 include Shireen Abu Akleh, a Palestinian-American journalist shot dead by Israeli forces in a rain in Jenin. We also saw Ansengur Edgi, a Turkish-American activist shot by Israeli forces during protests in Bedia. These deaths were ruled as mistakes and unintentional. No criminal charges nor prosecutions came of those American deaths. It's hard to really envision encircling someone and beating them for 3 hours a mistake or an unintended consequence. So what can we expect as American officials are calling for Israel to investigate this act of terrorism?
Interesting. Yeah, it is an upside down world, right, Poppy? By the way, Delene, I can see your chats on my StreamYard, so I don't have to look at the screen to see them. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that they're censoring on TikTok or Instagram or other or Facebook. And it is an interesting phenomenon that, like, Tucker Carlson is calling out what's going on with Israel and the Epstein files and other things, you know, at the Turning Points hoedown. It's interesting that Matt Gates is saying this on OAN. It's an interesting phenomenon. Is it going to help the situation? It's certainly right. It's bringing information to more people and probably making more people go, this is concerning, right? It is creating that effect, of course. That is Matt Gates, Bella. that is the Matt Gates. Greece, dock workers in Greece are blocking export of weapons to Israel. And this is how it's done. It's like, I like to show videos of people, pushing ice back out of their neighborhoods. And this is how you block weapons from leaving a port to Israel. I mean, sure, they can take them elsewhere, but you're getting in the way. You're disrupting. You're making it a little bit harder for it to happen. This is how we do it. This is how we do it. All right. Just got a few more things. I think somebody sent me some support on Ko-Fi. I believe it was Kate. Thank you, Kate. I appreciate you. Always helpful. This is an interesting clip here. Don't worry, friends. It's not just your federal government directly sending your tax dollars off to Israel to murder women and children. Your state governments are doing it as well. Your money stolen from your pockets. It should be improving your lives. Trust the plan.
This is how much money each state is paying to the government of Israel to kill innocent people. Tennessee pays $282 million to Israel to kill people. Connecticut pays $325 million to kill innocent people. North Dakota pays $35 million to Israel to kill innocent people. Washington, D.C., $73 million. Delaware, $46 million. Ohio, $469 million. Georgia, $452 million. Arizona, $315 million. Florida, $1.3 billion. Hawaii, $61 million. Texas, $1.4 billion. Pennsylvania, $640 million. These numbers are astronomical. And if you go back and look at what this federal money could do for the people of that individual state, it's absolutely ludicrous. There is no reason that anyone in this country should be poor. And the fact that our government officials, that our elected officials are giving this money off to other countries is disgusting and should be illegal and worthy of treason. You now know why our politicians go to Israel before they're elected, why they kiss their wall, why they worship them.
Yeah. Are you saying, Delene, you were saying that Kate isn't in the chat column, in the side chat? Okay. Is that true? Are we not seeing Kate's chats on the screen? Yeah. I'm seeing her chats, but I see him. Kate says no phenomenon in 2008 while watching politicians speaking on MSNBC and talking about John Boehner. I realized all these jokers in politics are just puppet actors. They are. They are. They are. They are. They are. That's why it's hard to, it's hard to really like get fully behind these people that are out there. Like I said yesterday, the disclosure thing is like a bit of pressure release on some level for people. I think it's a releasing the pressure valve a little bit, and it also, right, because if people are out there talking about it, then people feel like, well, these people are talking about it, surely somebody will do something, kind of like Democrats taking up the mantle of supposed social democracy a few years ago when they were like, oh yeah, totally social. Oh yeah, totally social democracy. Yeah, we hear you guys. We hear you. We hear you. And they started like talking about it, and it was big. And people were like, oh yeah, they'll take care of it. And if one of their own, even if he was the least socially democratic of them all, got elected president, then people feel like, well, surely some of these things will get done. And surely none of those things got done. Not one of those things got done. They got worse. So this is surely one of the reasons why all these people in power or in prominent positions are talking about all this stuff, because it gives people the idea that like, surely, these people are talking about it. Surely something will get done. It's like a pressure release. It takes a responsibility away from people and puts it onto, the powerful, right? They just give away their power to these people that are, oh, they're talking about it. Well, somebody's going to have to do something about something. And it lets people off the hook in a way. That's, I don't know. That's one of the ways I try to look at it. Yeah. Well, I don't know how they decide to show what on the screen, guys. And it's, you could probably blame YouTube for that, and put a little bit of that blame on StreamYard, maybe. Someone at Tom Hartman blocked me and couldn't see my sidebar chat and other chat channels. Huh. Interesting. They're constantly, chipping away at the viewers and the viewership of this channel. So it's, none of it surprises me. It probably shouldn't surprise you either, and it's concerning for sure. I'm not saying that you shouldn't be concerned about it. Don't blame StreamYard. Okay. I mean, I don't know. StreamYard, I think, has its own separate bit of issues, but I don't know. Salt Liquor says, back before the election, I told them exactly what would happen before Biden. Yeah. Instead of asking me if I were psychic or something, they just blocked me. Well, that's what you get for that's what you get, Salt Liquors, for being right. Oh, so I heard a really good quote the other day. Oh, and I can't really grasp it. What was it? People will are more prone to forgive you if you're wrong than if you're right. Right? Like, I think I'm wording that correctly. People are more willing to forgive you if you're wrong than if you're right. Meaning, don't be right. Don't go out there and be right about the stuff, because people will never forgive you for that. And that's what I have found that to be very true. If you're if you tell people the truth about something and they don't want to hear it, they'll be really mad. But it's like, hey, it's just the truth. Another good quote I heard was that if you love someone, you tell them the truth. That truth is love, even if it is painful. It is a form of love. So there you go. You thought you were wrong once, but you were mistaken. Yeah. So hopefully that helps. Couple more things, and I'm gonna let you all go. Standing beside Trump is Howard Lutnick, Jeffrey Epstein's longtime neighbor, who bought his townhome from a trust controlled by Epstein and Les Wexner. Brilliant optics. Primo Radical says he's just going to keep doubling down. It's not Patel or Bongino or Bondi who is pushing for a cover-up. It's Donald Trump.
Mr. President, I know you've urged people to move on, but I'm curious, why do you think your supporters in particular have been so interested in the Epstein story and so upset about how it's been handled?
I don't understand it. Why they would be so interested. He's dead for a long time. He was never a big factor in terms of life. I don't understand what the interest or what the fascination is.
Who do you sound like?
Really don't.
Who do you sound like there? He sounded like Larry Silverstein. There was already so much loss of life. Donald Trump says he was never really a big factor in life. He just went full Larry Silverstein.
And the credible information's been given. Don't forget, we went through years of the Mueller witch hunt and all of the different things, the Steele dossier, which was all fake. All that information was fake. But I don't understand why the Jeffrey Epstein case would be of interest to anybody. It's pretty boring stuff. It's sordid, but it's boring. And I don't understand.
He's starting to, this is like the worst lying session. Like, this sounds like an 8-year-old trying to tell you that, like, they didn't do something that they did. They did not steal the chocolate chip cookie out of the cookie jar. It's really, I wasn't doing anything. I was just bored, and I just was sitting here, and it was just nothing was happening and nothing.
Why it keeps going. I think really only pretty bad people, including fake news, want to keep something like that going. But credible information, let them give it. Anything that's credible.
Chuckling at this, he's like, "Oh my God, this is so funny. I gotta laugh. This is so ridiculous. I can't stop from laughing."
I would say let them have it.
Mr. President, a question on AI. How do you want America?
It does seem like an SNL skit. It does. It's just so ridiculous. It's just really boring. It's really It's just boring. And he doesn't really matter. Like, nothing he does really ever mattered, like, in life. What the hell? Wow. Okay. Lastly, and again, this is probably a good way to control the opposition to this is, New York Times telling you that there's a Democratic senator who will not let it go. He's going to find out about this, and everybody can go like, "Oh, whew, those Democrats, they're on the case. That's good. Well, I'll just let this go. I got to go to work. Senator Ron Wyden has found that 4 banks waited until Mr. Epstein's arrest on federal charges to flag $1.5 billion in suspicious transactions. Mr. Wyden wants the documents made public. Well, and he's going to get to it. No, he will not. He won't. I mean, I'll applaud and go, good job if he does, but I really don't think so. Nancy Pelosi, that's pretty good. Yeah, she's not. the news, yeah, that suit pant look just isn't really cut anymore. Anyways, or pantsuit, suit pant, whatever you want to call it. Pant. I like pant. I like suit pant. Oh my God. Trump and his administration want to move on from Jeffrey Epstein, the disgraced financier and sexual offender who once associated with some of the world's richest and most powerful people. Some of Mr. Trump's most loyal supporters insist there is more to uncover, but it's not just MAGA faithful who are refusing to let it go. Oh, no. Senator Ron Wyden of Oregon, the top Democrat on a powerful Senate Finance Committee, has been digging into Mr. Epstein's financial network for the past 3 years. Yeah, no, never mind that Lutnick also contributed to the Democrats. At one time, he was a big Democrat insider. So it doesn't really... Is he really going to get to the bottom of this, do you think? Yeah, don't hold out hope for this, okay? Yeah, this is definitely like pressure release right here. Anyways, they're talking about, transactions being flagged and blah, blah, blah. And there is impropriety going on. We're going to find this out. Okay. Sure thing. I mean, I hope he does. I hope somebody does. For crying out loud, will somebody figure out what's going on? Can somebody do something about something? Ever? No? Okay. Oh, you're unable to come to the live music stream tonight? Oh, I'm not doing one tonight. But thank you for letting me know. I'll start without you. No. I don't know when I'm going to do another one. I think maybe this weekend. I haven't really set a day yet. But I will surely let y'all know when I do it. All right, guys. Let's see if I have anybody else to thank up in here. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for being here. Y'all are amazing, beautiful, stupendous, magnanimous. I will see you tomorrow. Man, is it there? Tomorrow's Friday already. My God. See you tomorrow at the regular time of 12 p.m. Yeesh, salt lickers, my God. All right, y'all. Beware the bear.
Bye.